Good morning. It is Thursday, so it's Therapy Thursday. Um, would love to hear from some of you who have heard some of the other podcasts, and they're made to be the techniques that are in the previous podcasts, the previous sessions for Therapy Thursday. Those are all sort of meant to build on each other and use together. So the first one, if you haven't watched them, you can go back and watch them. The first one with the anchoring exercise, you can use that along with a sort of a meditation with or without the visualization that we talked about a few weeks ago. And last week we talked about using a 1 to 10 scale to start to become more aware of where your mind is. So whether you're measuring on a 1 to 10 scale at pain level for a migraine headache, or whether you're talking about being anxious about something or angry or depressed, any of those things, you can use the 1 to 10 scale. So the idea is that you want to start to become more aware of your body, because your body talks to you and tells you what it is that you need. And if you don't listen to your body when it's sort of on a lower scale, it actually gets louder, and it can lead to serious kind of medical conditions and other issues, sleep disorders and other, pain disorders, all that sort of stuff. So the idea is here that we're trying to get you to be more aware of what it is that your body needs. So I'd love to hear from you and hear, did you do the exercise that we talked about last week, where you rated your level of whatever it is that you're rating from 1 to 10, your pain scale, your depression scale, your anxiety scale, that sort of thing, what it is that you look like or things feel like in your body, and some of the behaviors that you exhibit as you go up that scale. And then the second piece is, once you're able to do that and identify it, you need to really pay attention to your body, because now that you realize that things are creeping up and maybe you're at a 2 or a 4 on that scale, and now that you know what that looks like, you can implement some of the tools that we're talking about here, so that you don't go all the way up to a 7, 8, 10. So that's kind of the idea behind it. And the other piece is that I told you to ask some of the people in your life, your supports, what some of your tells are, so that you can become aware of them, but also you can incorporate them. You need a support network. You need a tribe of people, so that when they see things, when they're like, hey, you're doing that thing where you're twirling your hair or whatever it is, they can make you aware of it too and become part of that support. And you can kind of do that for each other. Right? So you need other people, you do need supports, but also it's teaching you to be intuitive for your own body and know what you need. Be more in touch with yourself. So I'd love to hear from some of you if you have some other questions specifically, or there's something that you'd like some advice on, or something you want me to talk about. I'd really love to hear about that, because then I know what it is to do to help you best. The second piece I want to talk about today, I've kind of said this before, which is that the premise of my healing business is that a lot of people inevitably sort of do things that they think are going to solve whatever their issue is, and their solution actually makes the problem worse. One of the biggest things that I see as an example of that, and who I work with a lot, are either men or women who come in and say, you know what, I'm a good person. I feel like I have a good work ethic. I'm honest. I'm a good mom. I'm a good wife. I'm a good work ethic. All those things. And despite that, I'm still not happy. So their intended solution is, what I'm going to do is, it's the people around me that need to change something. My husband needs to change, my kids need to change, my boss needs to change, my friends need to change. So instead of kind of looking inside and saying, what is it that I can do differently, because in their mind, they're doing everything perfectly, they start talking to the people in their network to tell them what they need to do differently. So they start to put a lot of energy into telling their spouse, their kids, their boss, what it is that they need to do differently, or what they're upset about, so that they can change it, so that you can make me happy. And I'm here to tell you what happens is, it is exhausting trying to get other people to change, because it's not possible. You cannot make somebody else change. Now, people come to me, and even though they hear this over and over again throughout their life, they still do it. If you are putting your energy into trying to make somebody else change, all you're going to do is exhaust yourself and make other people resent you and not want to be around you. So what that does is, inevitably your solution becomes the problem, because now you're exhausted and you're even more unhappy with your life. And then it creates this horrible cycle. So I have developed a set of 13 rules that is going to be a book that is going to be coming out later this year about staying focused, or the rules that you need to follow so that you can stay focused on yourself. How do I change me? And I know what the objection is to this, guys, and I'll tell you why I know that. It's because I was there, okay? Because I felt like I was doing all the right things and I'm doing all these things for everybody else. Why isn't anybody doing anything for me? I must be being punished, whatever. I've discussed this in other videos. So I'm here to tell you from personal experience, when you focus on yourself and being the best possible you can be, then you're going to be happier. You're going to raise your own vibrations, and then you'll be able to hear messages from your higher power, your intuition that tells you what you need to be doing that is in your highest and best good. Okay. Now, the objection is, Beck, I'm already doing it. I'm a good person. Okay. I don't need to change anything. I'm great just the way I am. And I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm sure you are great. What we want to do is fine tune that. And the way to do that is to work with a spiritual coach or healer like myself, who's going to help guide you in a way to be able to raise your own vibration so that you can hear your inspiration and that you can live out your soul purpose and be happy. Okay. The other objection is, but Beck, then that means all the people in my world are not going to change and they're still going to be doing what they're doing. Okay. So two things to that. Again, you cannot change other people. So I get it, but I'm here to tell you, when you change, you will emit something and something will change in you. Other people will see that, feel it, hear it. It is impossible for the other people around you not to interact with you differently when you change what you do, because you're changing the patterns with which you interact with them. They have no choice but to change, okay? Because they're going to be doing something different. Now, it may not be what you want, but again, you're not in charge of that, okay? The second objection is that people will say to me, Beck, you don't understand. I have every right to tell somebody what I want them to do differently or what I want. And you know what? The answer is yes, you do. I am not saying you don't, okay? I certainly don't not tell my husband or daughter, etc., or people, that work for me or worth me what I want. I certainly do, but you can do it in a different way, okay? So I want you to think about, this was probably modeled for you. Think about when you were a kid and you felt like all people ever did was tell you what a screw up you were and how you weren't doing it right, okay? You know how that feels, and you do not want to model that you don't want to repeat that behavior, because you know how that feels. It's defeating. It makes other people feel like they can't do anything right, and people don't want to be around you because it is a low vibrational activity to complain or tell somebody constantly what they're messing up on. Okay, you don't want to repeat the pattern of behavior that you didn't like from when you were growing up, that maybe your parents did it, you had teachers did it. If you're like me and kind of were very talkative or that sort of thing, or sort of, didn't really get things sometimes, trust me, I felt like a lot of times people didn't know how to respond to that, and I felt stupid, right? So I do not want to repeat those same behaviors, those same low vibrations. I don't want to make other people feel the way I felt in order to get them to change. That is not how to change anything. Okay, this is why you're exhausted, because you are looking outside of yourself to become happy, and that has got to come from within you. And if you're confused about that and you don't know how to make that happen because you think, hey, everything's great, it's not me, then please email me and let's work together, because I can help you with this, because I've done it myself and I have the experience in transformation, and I'm a professional in both transformation and spirituality. I can help you. Okay, respond to, you can put a note on this video. You can email me at Beck, BECC Nelson at hopecounselingri.com. You can also go to my website, becknelson.com. Thanks, everybody. Bye.